We're going to be joining the Daily Wire Live.
All right.
So here we go.
Is those of you who love God must, it's a commandment.
I've really heard Dennis in my headphones. Wow, it sounds so different now.
If you don't hate evil, you don't love God.
How long do we have?
So for a pastor or a rabbi, that's irrelevant, or a pope, to say that Jesus doesn't take sides, he doesn't take sides on whether you cut girls' breasts off if they say they're boys, that's frightening.
It's a problem. Could you deliver that message to the evangelicals?
I do. I speak to Christians more than to Jews.
I will say that there is an aspect of Jesus, which is, you hate to use modern political vernacular to talk about ancient religious figures, but there is a liberal aspect to Jesus in the sense that Dr. Jordan Peterson often says that the purpose of the liberal in a healthy society is to speak for the underrepresented, is to speak for anyone who, because in any sort of hierarchy of any kind, there are going to be people who get disenfranchised, there are going to be people who the system looks over, and someone has to remind those of us who are in power, or those of us who are ascendant, to remember those people and to care for them. But that's about where the comparison can stop. Religion is fundamentally a conservative exercise because it posits that the greatest wisdom that's ever, been presented in human history is behind us.
And right, there's also a transcendent, eternal moral order and human nature, and it's hard to square that with the liberal project, which is in itself largely a rejection of religion. I mean, you think of the French Revolution is where we get the terms left and right. And what does that come from? That comes from the National Assembly, where the Catholics sat on the right and the atheists sat on the left. And that was pretty much the breakdown.
Speaking of the French Revolution, our friend Tim Pool is joining us now. And not a moment too soon, because the polls are closing in a number of states just in the last few minutes, all throughout the central part of the country, including Texas, my home state, which you will be shocked to learn is being universally called for Donald Trump. So, there were, going into the election, there were all kinds of things that people were, maybe New York will go for Trump, and maybe Texas will go for Harris. All that is wish casting. We still live in a world where gravity works.
Yeah, here's some quick calls. Trump wins Wyoming, Trump wins Kansas, Trump wins North Dakota, Trump wins South Dakota, Trump wins Nebraska, Trump wins Louisiana, and Kamala wins New York. So Donald Trump's big dream of winning New York, well, that one went down in flames because that's a really stupid idea.
Hey, Kamala Harris,
Texas, and
Kamala
Trump has won Ohio.
Kamala Harris did campaign in Texas.
Did that all just came in right now?
Yeah.
As you were walking over.
Right. Well, how are you guys feeling? We've been tracking the Decision Desk forecast, giving Trump about 70% chance to win. And it's going down a little bit, but it's staying about 2-1. So what do we think?
I don't know, man. What do you think?
The whole time, the scariest thing is the quote-unquote shadow campaign, right? Time Magazine writes that article. 2020 had a shadow campaign. We go to bed, Trump's ahead in all the numbers, and then we wake up and he's not winning. Based on what I've seen on the ground, I went to Philadelphia and there were Trump signs in downtown Philadelphia and the surrounding residential areas. That to me was crazy to see an urban center that was Republican or that people were unafraid. And so my gut just says Trump's got the edge, whatever that means. But I don't know the Republicans have the procedural capabilities that Democrats have. I think, Ben, you were saying they're way more professional. That is worrying to me.
Yeah, so there was some Gallup data that suggested that a much higher percentage of Democrats had heard directly from the Kamala campaign than Republicans had heard from the Trump campaign. The Democrats are granular on this sort of stuff. They know how to ballot harvest. They will knock on doors. They'll do whatever it takes to get their people out. Republicans, it always feels like, okay, guys, please go. And the more we just shout vote at people, somebody out there, you'll open your window, you'll shout vote, and some person in Pennsylvania will hear you, and then immediately run to the polls. With that said, I mean, the enthusiasm that Trump, does enable in the voting population on both sides, but largely on the right, is unprecedented, obviously, in American history. And you are seeing that show up. If you had to game it out right now, Trump is a slight favorite. I think everyone sort of acknowledges at this point that Trump is a slight favorite, but it's a very slight favorite. So, like the Needle, the New York Times, the famous Needle. Yeah, so they right now have it leaning right between it's a toss-up and lean Trump. Like they have it very slightly favoring President Trump. He is very slightly favored to win Pennsylvania. He's slightly favored still to win Nevada and North Carolina, according to the New York Times, right? So I'm not citing a left-wing source right there. And of course, it seems as though we're having a better time tonight than the people on MSNBC are.
Yeah.
From what I'm hearing from I'm getting a lot of
That
texts
was
from
part
people.
of the reason my joy. You know, the whole night I watched the left-wing media. It was.
Oh well, we're gonna live stream MSNBC. If this goes the wrong way, we're just gonna put a live camera outside Kamala's headquarters, and we're just gonna watch people scream into the night, and it's gonna be just wonderful.
There will be joy.
There will be
joy.
You guys all know the term Schadenfreude,
Yeah.
joy and others' misery. So I don't generally have that, but that night 8 years ago.
If they do it tonight, it's like the purge, right? All moral rules are off.
Yeah.
We're just going to enjoy the suffering of others.
I have been very honest with myself for the past several days. I have relatives and friends who are big libs. You know, I'm from New York. I lived in L.A. A lot of Democrat friends. And I won't bring it up with them. And it won't come up at Thanksgiving.
Right, exactly.
However, I have two buddies who are New York Democrats. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I am salivating at the prospect of rubbing it in their faces so hard. So they're the only two. I think it's otherwise we have to have a politics of grace and everything. But there will be some Schadenfreude. I think it might be unavoidable.
Well, as a warning to others, we must engage in Schadenfreude. Do not repeat this exercise again. It's like punishing your child. You don't want to do it. You really don't want to do it, but it has to be done.
It hurts you.
It hurts you more than it hurts.
That's right.
Exactly.
This is why I really hope that Trump wins the popular vote. If Trump wins the Electoral College and loses the popular vote, I know I'm going to go to Thanksgiving, and they're going to say, you guys only win because of some archaic procedure. We're the popular
A
mandate.
procedure called the Constitution. You guys only win because of your government.
Well,
I want Trump to win the popular vote so I can just say you're wrong about everything and we're right about everything.
Well, it does
So
look
wait,
right now in Ohio, by the
you
way.
have that too? You have a lot of relatives who are on the left?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So wait. So do you know? Oh, so this is a fascinating question. I love this sort of thing because I always ask people about their own personal lives. I'm fascinated. The only human being I know, and you must understand how many I've asked, including people I meet, which is a lot, on the radio, just people calling in. Literally the only person I know, all of whose relatives are conservative, is my wife.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
Lucky her.
No kidding. She's going to live till 170. There's no question. She has no misery.
At that point, though, what's the point of going to Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
You know, you can look forward to it.
Right, yeah.
At least turkey's good.
I feel like Biden's having a bad election.
Oh, yeah.
Is this true that Joe Biden was wearing red? Did you see
So
that?
Jill was. When Jill voted.
Jill-
So for sure, 100% Jill voted for Trump. 100%.
Gotta be, right?
She despises Kamala Harris. Like,
At the
hates
very
her.
least, they wrote in Joe Biden. There is no way they voted.
I heard she wrote in Joe and
Yeah.
she wore red.
Yeah, that would make the most
That's
sense.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
She wore red. That matters.
Right.
Is that a new thing?
Well,
He's wearing the Republican colors,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah, no, I didn't know
remarkable.
that.
Remarkable.
it's like a nudge, you know?
But doesn't Donald Trump often wear a blue tie? I mean,
No, he's got the red tie, the
he
yellow
always
tie.
has a red tie, really?
Occasionally the blue. You know, something people forget about
Oh, my word.
election
Blue
night
tie,
history.
yeah.
They switched
it was,
it, yeah.
it was always up in the air. Sometimes, you know, when Reagan won, it was blue was Republican and red was Democrat.
Which is the way it ought to be.
Yes,
They're the
they're the Reds.
Yeah.
They're the Reds. But it was the 2000 election. I think it was Tim Russert in particular. That was really when it started to solidify as red for Republican, blue for Dem. And I totally agree with you, Dennis. They are actually reds, so it fits them. And red is an unattractive color. Oh, I'm wearing a red shirt jacket, but I mean that bright red. It's like a stop sign or something.
Burgundy.
This is burgundy. This is
Yeah.
more like a plum.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
in Ohio, it looks like Bernie Moreno is going to cruise to victory over Sherrod Brown.
Let's
that
go.
That was a close
Really?
race.
Let's
I
go.
think Sherrod
Wow.
Brown is going to be ousted.
All right, baby.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, that takes
Wow.
the Republicans to 52 in the Senate.
Wow.
Which is a more durable majority, obviously.
West Virginia was fairly obvious.
Yeah.
When they
Right.
called it, I'm like, I live there. And
Right.
Yeah.
Shane on our show is like, there's no cities in West Virginia. You've got nothing to worry about.
That's exactly
No, that's a great line.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.